This clashes with Senator Murkomen.
Thank you very much and for hosting us this morning. Obviously, yeah, we had a meeting about 2 days ago, and this I would say is the community meeting. Basically was meant to say now we are ready to prepare. We are preparing for and updating also the community on what is happening politically and of course tell them our political path going forward. And therefore we said it's important now we start now rebranding, and that is not something that is very new, it's very normal, it happens all over the world, that indeed you must listen to your supporters, to your members, and also to the country and say, what is it that this country needs? Going forward, I think this country now, more than ever before, needs unity, and we felt it's important now we come up with something that brings all Kenyans together, because I think, and you'll appreciate, what is actually messing this country is the politics of tribal inclinations, or having political outfits that possibly represent some parts of the country. And therefore we said, why can't we now look into a situation where we come up with an outfit that brings all Kenyans together, and therefore one Kenya movement. And we felt this actually is not discriminating against anyone, and we said, indeed, as a party now we need to reach out. We need to talk to many others. We need to talk to the 44 tribes of this country and see whether they can come under the umbrella of one Kenya movement. And we felt that is the way to go. So the issue of Senator Murkomen feeling that obviously an acronym has been used. There are so many other acronyms. For example, even ODM, for example, is an acronym, and there are people with those kind of initials. So I don't think it's really a matter to worry much, and I don't think even the registered political parties will give it a second thought. That just keeping, I think, Murkomen wanted to create a political excitement by telling people. And I think we also appreciate him, because indeed he also appreciates that acronym is acronym to go by to bring all Kenyans, including himself. He should find himself actually to be part of this. In fact, he should come and join this now.
All right. So it is something we'll be keeping an eye on, because Murkomen has quite a lot to say on the same. But let's focus a bit more on Ukambani politics, which has for years been defined by the political rivalry between Kalonzo Musyoka and the likes of Charity Ngilu. We've now seen Charity Ngilu throw a full weight behind Kalonzo Musyoka for his presidency, presidential bid in 2022. How is this likely to change politics, or the face of politics in Ukambani?
Remember, from let's say 2002, as a community, we have been in the structures of government by supporting others. And you remember 2002, before even then, with the Kano regime, all of us as a community, we said, yes, we were supporting the regime that time. Then, of course, the Kibaki regime came, and we strongly came and supported the Kibaki regime. And obviously now, later in 2013, we came and stood with Raila Amolo Odinga, and again in 2017. And we said, honestly, having served and even worked with almost all parts and with other leaders from across the country, would it not be also right to come and say, please, now this is the time we need to also present ourselves as a potential candidate for 2022. And for that to happen, for Kalonzo to go out and convince the rest of Kenya that indeed we are ready and serious, of course, as a community, we must also make sure we solidify our base. And solidification of our base now called for all the political leaders in our community coming together and speaking in one voice. And therefore, that's why you saw the likes of the Governor Kibwana coming out strongly, with the Governor of Makueni, Governor Charity Ngilu for Kitui, coming out and saying, yes, as a community now we need to speak in one voice. And hence the meeting that was held 2 days ago that included all the community leaders, the clergy, the elders, the political leaders, to say as a community we are ready to even build our bridges and reach out to others to come and support us.
Right.
And that's why you see Charity say, yes, I have done my assessment, and with all the political experience I have as Charity, I think now this is a time to stand firmly behind Kalonzo Musyoka.
Right.
And that's what she has done.
And these, of course, people looking to replace Charity Ngilu in the role she played as opposition in Ukambani. And among them is Machakos Governor Dr. Alfred Mutua, who's been very skeptical even of, the Ukambani unity as being peddled by the Wiper Party. Let's just listen in to what Alfred Mutua had to say on Ukambani unity.
Affair. It was a party meeting, and we've been vindicated, and you've seen that the meeting was full of insults and derogatory comments, chest stamping. It was basically a meeting meant to revive the failing career of an individual. It was not discussing the welfare of our people. I mean, look at the meeting. There was no discussion on development. There was no discussion about economic welfare of over 4 million Kambas in this country. There was no discussion on how to actually forge together a process of economic empowerment. It was all about a certain party affair and a certain individual.
All right, that is Alfred Mutua there, who is the Machakos governor. It was a party meeting, not one that reflected a national outlook as Wiper would like, according to him. Your thoughts to that?
Yeah, you see, Charity Ngilu does not belong to Wiper. Charity Ngilu belongs to a party called NAC. And there were many others from other political outfits. So it had nothing to do with the Wiper. It was actually a community meeting. And that's why you saw almost leaders from all political parties across the community who are there. So the reason why possibly is commenting about it, because it made a lot of sense to many Kenyans and also to the community members. That's why he feels he missed an opportunity. And by the way, for your information, we called him. He was called by His Excellency Kalonzo Musyoka, called Mutua and said, this is a community meeting and you have to be here, because we are discussing community issues. So he was actually supposed to have come. And when he didn't come, maybe that is why he's responding, feeling that he was left out. Indeed, what he should be doing, he should be trying to catch up now and join the community, because you cannot be a lone ranger in a situation like this, where the entire community is moving in one direction and you are moving into a totally different direction alone. Because when you're a lone ranger, then of course now it tells the things, so many things about yourself. Why would you want to walk alone? Because if at all you are feeling that, yes, all those good ideas he's talking about, he should have come into that meeting and bring out those issues that he's talking about now in that particular meeting and say, these are the issues we'll be discussing. But basically it was a unity meeting, and it was, there were resolutions that were passed on how to move forward as a unit, as a community going forward, how we are supposed to relate with the rest of communities in this country, how we are supposed now to reach out, how we are supposed to place ourselves strategically in the political platform of this country. And he should have come. He should have come actually to be part of it. So I think he missed an opportunity. And it's high time now he tries to catch up now. And maybe that's why he's responding to some of these things.
That. Well, let's leave Ukambani for a moment, because Wiper wants to rebrand to the One Kenya movement, giving it a national look. Kalonzo Musyoka, they're declaring that he will be his own man, not playing second fiddle to anyone. Where, however, does that leave the future and the fate of the opposition coalition, NASA?
You see, NASA was a coalition of 4 political parties. That is ODM, Wiper, ANC, and Ford Kenya. And now what we are saying is that now we need to strengthen even that more. We need to go beyond now the 4 political parties and see how we can bring even more on board. And that's why we are talking of One Kenya. We are not leaving out any part of this country. We are bringing everyone on board so that now we form a solid One Kenya movement.
Right.
So that now we can move forward. So that whoever from coast is part of this movement, you'll feel, yes, this belongs to us. If you come from northern Kenya, if you come from western, if you come from any part of this country, even central, you feel you are definitely part of this one Kenya movement. Because it is a movement that now brings on board everyone. It is a movement without boundaries, and therefore we are inviting everyone to join. Right. Because indeed, actually what is required now in this country going forward is how do we have an outfit or movement that brings all Kenyans together going forward. And I think that is the way to go. And so, therefore we will be calling and inviting everyone to come and join into this. In fact, including Mutua himself, he should be part of this.
Well, the big question is, what different strategy will the One Kenya movement have? Because in many campaigns, in many political outfits, we saw this with Jubilee. They said they wanted to unite Kenyans. We saw this with NASA. They said they wanted to unite Kenyans, a unified Kenya. Many of us have heard that. But what's different that the OKM will bring that will indeed unite Kenyans?
OKM is about Kenya. Is about one country. Is about our own country, Kenya. And when you look at the manifestos or the visions of other political parties, outfits, if you look at, for example, Jubilee, it is true that it was actually a coalition initially of two political parties. That was TNA and URP.
Right.
And then, of course, I've told you NASA was a coalition of 4 political parties. And now look at a situation now where we bring even more outfits, those even small and so feel are small and are not even given recognition or visibility, and now we bring them on board. So this is now, I would say, it's a ship that carries even more. It contains more, that tries to unify. Of course, looking at where we are coming from, where we had very difficult political situations, and therefore we are saying, as part of healing now, as part of now unifying this country, now campaign cycle is over, we need to move forward. How do we now get out of this and come? We must rebrand, we must put in a new face and say, indeed, we've learned our mistakes as Kenyans, and therefore the only way is to move forward as an entity going forward. And that's why we have One Kenya movement. And I think that is the way to go.
When it comes to Kenyan politics, final question. Areas like Ukambani traditionally have been viewed as an opposition stronghold, but in the recent past election there, we saw them being referred to as battlegrounds, so to speak, where allegiance wasn't quite on one side as was initially thought. With this new unity that we're seeing, especially from the likes of Mudhama, the likes of Charity Ngilu throwing their weight behind Kalonzo Musyoka, what strength does the Ukambani vote hold for 2022?
We are talking of 4 million votes from Ukambani. 4 million votes, we are saying that is a nation by itself. And therefore, you cannot now underestimate a community with close to 4 million population. And obviously, we are saying that is a major block going forward. And that's why we are saying, with that kind of block, we need to reach out now more and see whether we can reach out to other Kenyans and see how do we then strengthen this. Because the challenge that we had before was now we had a community that was divided. Charity possibly was on the other side. Mudhama was on the other side. But now we are all together. We are now, they all come behind and say now, we must now speak in one voice. We've learned our mistakes. We must now, for the sake of this community, speak in one voice and now solidify down the ways that now we have made some declarations, and the declarations are that now we are focusing on the 2022, and the only way is now to solidify the community. The community now is solidified. Now I can tell you for free that Ukambani has never been a battleground, never. Because when you look at the history, it has been NASA, and we must actually confess, because when actually people went to do the second voting, they never voted. The first voting they did overwhelmingly supporting NASA, and simply because Kalonzo Musyoka was there. And now we have said we need to now reach out to other parts of this country and see how we can solidify going forward. So we feel now energized, and the people are going forward and energized towards now bringing and unifying this country called Kenya.
All right. Well, it is a movement we'll be watching closely here in KT News and the country at large. Of course, many thanks for speaking to us. That is Peter Mathuki, who is the Secretary General of the Wiper Democratic